Welcome to this week's Read the Bible Together session. Continuing our year in the Old Testament, we are going to read from 1 Kings chapter 17, verses 8 through 16, and it is the story of one of the prophets, Elijah, and he encounters a widow one day along his travels. So this is Elijah and the Widow from the Spark Story Bible from Spark House Publishing. So Elijah was a prophet. God helped him show and tell others about God. One day, God said, "Pack up your things, Elijah. It is time to move to a new town. I have told a widow there to feed you. I will make a miracle happen." It was not a good time to move. Rain had not fallen in many days. The sun was hot and the earth was dry. And Elijah didn't have any friends in the town. But he listened to God and went to the new town. When Elijah finally got to town, he was thirsty, and just then he spotted a woman. Could this be the widow God told him about? "Excuse me, ma'am, could you please bring me a drink of water?" And the kind woman hurried to get the water. Grr, Elijah's tummy growled. He remembered that God said the widow would feed him, and he called after her, "Excuse me, ma'am, could you please bring me a nibble of bread to eat?" And the woman stopped in her tracks, and she turned to face Elijah. And you can see there Elijah and the widow talking as she stopped in her tracks because he asked for some bread. And the widow had sad eyes. "I'm sorry, sir, I don't have any bread," she sighed. "The last of my oil and flour will only make a biscuit, and my son and I are going to split it for our last meal. We have no other food." And she started to cry. "Dry your tears," Elijah said. "God will make a miracle for you. Bake the bread and share it with me, and God promises that your flour and oil will not run out." So the widow mixed and kneaded and baked loaf after loaf of bread. Her jar of flour and her jug of oil made plenty of food for Elijah, herself, and her son. God's promise was kept. It was a miracle. And you can see there, not just a biscuit to split among them, but loaves for each of them to eat. So as we think about that story this week, let's remember that we are collecting change in our piggy banks. Oops, my piggy bank is right over here. So we're collecting money in our piggy banks. And if you bring these to church throughout this week, or even especially on Sunday, we will bless these, and this money will help feed the hungry people in our own community. So think about Elijah and the widow as you collect the last minute change this week, and how we will all feed those in need.